Update: 3 die in St. Thomas two-vehicle crash.
3 people, 2 taxi operators and an accountant, are now dead following a two-vehicle crash in St. Thomas on Tuesday evening. The deceased have been identified by the police as 61-year-old accountant Errol Taylor, who was of a Pembroke Hall address in Kingston 20, and taxi operators Maurice Hines, 41, and Derek Berger, 61. Hines was from Retreat in St. Thomas and Berger was from Lloyd's District in Yallas, also in St. Thomas. 7 other people were injured and taken to hospital for treatment. Reports are that about 6:40 p.m. Tuesday, 2 Toyota Probox motor cars were traveling in opposite directions along a section of the South Coast Highway in St. Thomas when they collided.
Criminals team up, set sights on high-value targets.
National Security Minister Dr. Horace Chang has pointed to a shift in the modus operandi of criminals who, he said, are now operating in organized alliances to hit high-value targets. According to Chang, these criminals, who he described as terrorists, have resorted to activities that tend to generate heightened national concern, such as the stealing of ATMs and the targeting of cash in transit and other cash-heavy locations. Chang made the observations on Tuesday during his contribution to the 2023/24 sectoral debate at Gordon House. He highlighted that while intergang wars have been reduced, the action of criminal terrorist alliances carrying out these types of activities has significantly impacted the national psyche. He said the police have the capacity to respond. The police have built up intelligence, analyzed their activities and are developing effective strategic deployments. We continue to expand and improve our intelligence capabilities to ensure they have all the tools required for strong, effective policing, including legislative tools such as the Zones of Special Operations, ZOSO, and States of Public Emergency, SOEs. Regarding SOEs, Chang, who is also the Deputy Prime Minister, said the emergency measure saves lives and reduces the activities of criminal terrorists. This impact is well established. The SOE is one of our best tools to disrupt gangs and save lives, Chang emphasized. He pointed to a chart with the weekly murder trend since October 2022, which shows that the weeks following the declaration of SOEs typically experience a significant reduction in murders. In fact, the weeks that recorded the lowest weekly murder counts all fell within the 2-week period of the SOE, Chang added. He insisted that strong policing was needed to deal with criminal violence. Meanwhile, the National Security Minister pointed to an analysis of police statistics that shows that the age group 25 to 44 is responsible for the majority of victims and perpetrators of criminal violence in the country. For example, in 2022, 63% of those who committed murders fell into the 25 to 44 age group and made up 52% of all murder victims. These are seasoned criminals. They are not amenable to restorative justice and diversion programs. These are criminals who need to be apprehended, charged, imprisoned, and rehabilitated under controlled circumstances or separated from society until they can do no further harm. We must equip and train the police to deal effectively with these criminals, said Chang.
Teacher charged with more than 12 sex-related offenses. Police say at least 4 teachers are now behind bars as a result of sex-related offenses. The charges range from rape, buggery to grievous sexual assault, and indecent assault. Teacher jailed. Cops probe possible link to 13YO student's disappearance. Teen found a day later. A male teacher employed to a St. Andrew-based high school is in police custody in connection with 2 investigations, one of which involves a 13-year-old female student, who was reported missing for several hours last week before she was found. The teacher was apprehended last Friday but has not yet been charged with any crime. Senior Superintendent Kirk Ricketts, commanding officer for the St. Andrew South Police, told A. Following the arrest, Ricketts said that it was discovered that the educator was the subject of a separate probe being led by the Center for the Investigation of Sexual Offenses and Child Abuse, CISOCA. The teacher is currently on administrative suspension or leave that could be related to the CISOCA probe, the senior cop said. He said that investigators also believe that the initial report involving the missing 13-year-old had something to do with this teacher. According to the police, the child did not show up at school one day last week, causing a relative to file a missing persons report with the police. The following night, The teen was found along Padmore Drive in the Waltham Park Road area. She has since been reunited with her family, Ricketts confirmed. He, the teacher, is in custody as we finalize our investigation, the senior cop said. Cops were reportedly led to the teacher's St. Andrew home by another student, who is friends with the then missing teen. It is alleged that while in custody, the teacher sent a friend to his home to collect several gadgets, including a cell phone, a laptop, and a tablet. The friend was intercepted by the police and the gadgets seized, a source close to the investigation revealed. They are to be examined by the police's Communication Forensic and Cybercrimes Division. When contacted, the principal of the school denied knowledge of the situation. I don't know what you are referring to, so I could not provide you with any information regarding whatever the questions you asked, the principal said when asked whether the teacher was in custody. The incident is the latest in a recent string of cases involving teachers. At least 4 teachers are currently before the courts charged with various sex-related crimes involving their students. They include Ronald Smith, 44, who is accused of repeatedly engaging in sex acts with female students at 2 high schools where he taught, some of which were captured in cell phone videos and pictures, investigators claim. He was charged with over a dozen sex-related offenses and could face more charges as the police search for other young girls seen in additional cell phone videos and pictures. The others include Dawit Jeffrey, 29, a guidance counselor at another St. Andrew-based high school, and a 24-year-old business education teacher at a St. Anne-based institution. Jeffrey was charged in April last year with rape and multiple counts of indecent assault involving a 16-year-old female student. The alleged incidents took place in his school office. The business education teacher is facing charges of buggery, grievous sexual assault, and indecent assault involving a male student. Calls to Jamaica Teachers Association, JTA President LaSonia Harrison on Sunday went unanswered. But a senior JTA official noted that every year, the union holds sensitization sessions island-wide for its members, particularly those just entering the profession, to warn them of the many pitfalls they face. The police come in, along with representatives from the Child Protection and Family Services Agency, and explain to them the Child Care and Protection Act and the issue of statutory rape, said the official, who did not want to be named. You do this and you explain to them the dangers. The official, who was unaware of the latest incident, said the JTA has a firm stance against teachers getting involved with students but noted that the union has an obligation to assist members facing criminal charges. A long-awaited Jamaica Teaching Council bill, which will repeal certain provisions of the Education Regulations of 1980 and regulate the practice and professional conduct of teachers, is currently under review by a joint select committee of Parliament. It is seeking to establish a governing body for the profession and institute a regime for the licensing and registration of all government-paid teachers. The legislation will give the council the legal power to immediately suspend and cancel the registration of a teacher who has been charged with a disqualifiable offense, which would include sexual assault, murder, pornography, robbery, and fraud. The proposed legislation will require teachers found in breach to pay a minimum fine of $500,000, plus serve a stipulated 6-month sentence in prison.